Hey guys, I know a lot of people want to learn Figma in 2026, but the first time some people get started on Figma, they are lost. They honestly don't know what to do next. Maybe because of the blank canvas, so many options, so many buttons to click, and nobody there to guide them on what to do at every point in time. And that's mostly where a lot of people give up and just do something else. In this video, I'll be walking you through the easy, simple, step-by-step way to get started on Figma. Either you want to get started as a product designer, as a graphic designer, or an illustrator, or any kind of designer at all, this video is going to help you to onboard on Figma properly and design your first ever screen on Figma. If it sounds like something you want to learn, then let's dive straight into the YouTube tutorial. So this is what Figma website looks like, and when you scroll through, it's literally just telling you about like what Figma does, what you can use Figma for. This is literally what the Figma AI looks like. You can prompt it, and it can literally create a very nice interface for you. You can design on Figma, regular Figma interface, which we'll be talking about today. You can also use Figma to do drawings. Like, you don't need to use Illustrator anymore. You can come on Figma and do all your drawings. You can customize your brushes and all that. You can build on Figma using literally the Figma AI still. Like, you can literally do a lot more stuff. You can build with your developers also, and you can still literally even build your portfolio website on Figma without having to write a code and stuff like that, right? So that happens. Then you can publish. You can also publish your website on Figma, just like on Figma. When you finish designing, or if you finish when you just, the good thing about Figma is that when you now finish your implementation or finish your design, you just need to literally come here and turn it into an actual website and you're good. Then there's the Figma, which literally allows you to do your user research and a lot more, right? Then the presentation, which is the Figma slides. So those are like the major things on Figma. So as a beginner, this is like just a run through of what Figma has in store for you. So how to get started on Figma, right? You just come here, you see the login button, right? And you see the get started. If you have not created any account before, you need to get started, right? Or if you need to contact the sales guys, you can reach out to them. But this is what you do right now. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a new account. So getting started for free, right? And I have to go with Google because I have my email logged in already on this Chrome page. So you can also enter your email address directly if you want to. I'm using Kanvas Alchemy. That's my my academy, right, where I teach beginners about designs and how to get better from beginner to being an expert. So yeah, so we're creating an account right now, and we are going to set up this on Figma. So it's coming up. Let's give it some minutes. Okay, so this is what the interface looks like when you get into Figma, right? So it tells you what's your name, and I'll just say Kanvas Alchemy, right? I'll just say Kanvas Alchemy, and this is what it's going to look like when I'm on the mouse. Right, then it says, what do I want to use this for? Learn design, school, right? Or let's say work or school, anyone. Just say continue, right? And say as educator, right? If you are a beginner, you can choose student, right? And am I this online bootcamp, online course? Yes, this. It says anyone who's joining. Your email. I'll skip this for now to put in afterwards. It said, have you used Figma product before? Yes, many times. Then I say continue, right? And when I'm done, I choose. So here we have like the different plans, which is if you're a starter, you choose. So best for anyone who wants to sample Figma, right? You're a beginner, so you literally want to sample Figma. So free but limited features, 3 files to try out. Begin design, prototyping, and collaboration. For professional, you have different seats. If you have a full seat, which is the developer the collaboration and like designer, everybody. Yeah, we have a dev set, you have like a collaboration set, $3. So you have to pay for all of this to get access to limited files and folders, advanced prototyping, all those things, yada yada yada. And you have 3,000 credits for using the AI for full set. And the organization one is like for startups and the likes, which actually or who want to literally buy Figma for their teams, like their designers. So you can literally go for this. Just the full set for $55 per month, and also your developers will have to get $25 per month. Then collaboration is $5 per month, right? So here is that. So everything you need to get is, or that you would get, is here. So a centralized admin hub, organization-wide design libraries, SCIM provisions, file features like branching and merging. It's a whole lot more stuff that you would get on 3,500 AI credits. So if you choose one, I'll be going with the starter first for the sake of this video. Then I'll click on continue. When I'm done, it said, what would I like to do first on Figma? Because I want to teach you guys, I might just skip right now, right? Depending on whatever I want to do. So I can just skip. It said, what would you like to do first? So describe an idea, design on Canva, design on the canvas, build with preset blocks, create the graphics, or do a presentation. So they're literally trying to sell their product to me. Do you understand? So I might just skip because I know what I want to do. So this is what you see as a beginner, and you see like a prompt that wants to like take you on a tour to use the application, right? So immediately you see your name will be at the top here, whatever name you use, Kent, Ayomide, or Jola Olua, or Angela, whatever name you put on this is what's going to show for you. Right, so here we have like the recent. I don't really have any recent, but this is what Figma is already showing me that I already have, which are like preset templates, or like this is FigJam basics. So it's like preset templates from Figma that I can start with. Also Figma basics, like things that I can just go in and check. But for the sake of this video, I won't be opening any of those files. I will be creating a new file totally. So here we have like the drafts, all project. I don't have a draft yet, and I don't have any project. Resources also. Then there's nothing in my trash can, so usually nothing. It's just nothing. So for the sake of this video, we would start with creating a design, right? Just come here, you see design button here, right? You can just click on this and get it. Or if you want to do FigJam is here, right? Yeah, you just click on it and you get into FigJam. If it's slides you want to do, you click on slides. If it's Figma Buzz, you can also choose on Figma Buzz. Figma Buzz is the app that you use to do your illustrations and do your graphic design and all those things on Figma, right? Then the site is Figma site. Like you can literally build your portfolio website on Figma. While the Figma Make is you can literally build a proper product on Figma using the Figma AI. So basically, I'll click on Figma design right now, and we'll get into the interface of Figma. So this is what the interface of Figma looks like right now. And they already even popped up something for me to say, what do I want to make today? Is it a website? Is it a mobile application? Is it a desktop application? So if I say I want to make a website, they will give me a template already like this. It's a website. Or if I say I want to make a mobile application, they will quickly show me something, different samples that I can start with, right? Then if I say it's a desktop application I want to make, they'll quickly show me something that I want to make on here. So for the sake of this, as for beginners, I would say let's do a mobile application. It's smaller and it's a little bit more. It's smaller for your, like, I don't want to say now, it's smaller. You don't have to start thinking too much because it's a smaller screen. So let's just go for mobile application. So that is that for now, but I'm not going to touch anything here for now. I'm just going to move it away from my screen. So here I'll be walking you through the side bar, like the left and the right, and everything you need to know about this Figma interface and things that you need to literally know properly before you start designing, right? So if you come here, you see that this is the Figma icon. This is called the main menu when you hover on it. So if I do this, there are more actions to be done, right? I can go back to files, which is, if I go back to files, is that first page that we saw that had like the project and some files that Figma already created for me. If I come here now, see actions. If I want to come directly to actions, I can press Command K, and I'm able to search for different things right here on the screen, right? Then here also there are still other things. You can create a new design file from here. You can create a new FigJam, FigBuzz, site, FigMake, and the likes. Then you can import from Sketch. Sketch is also a design tool that actually sync with Figma, so you can export your sketch file and Figma will actually open your sketch file for you properly. So here you can place images inside of Figma. So if you click on place image, it should open up your file manager for you, and if there's something that you need to put in, right, you will be able to put in. So let me look for a proper image now. Let me just drop it. So if I come in and then drop it, this is the image from my file, right? You can literally do so much with it, expand and do stuff. You can move it around depending on whatever you want to, or the kind of image that you want to use on Figma, right? So I will delete this. So in the next one, if you go back to this same icon, we're still on the same icon, we've not moved at all. Then you can save your files locally. You can save to version history. So what version history literally does is, if you save 5 minutes ago, you can save again 2 minutes later, but Figma literally saves automatically for you, so you don't need to do all this, right? But for version history, you would have to come here and save by yourself at some point. Maybe if your client comes and say, you know, I want this change, but you want that particular change to be in a particular version history, so that when a person comes again and say, oh, I'm not doing this again, or can you go back to the previous one, you can always go back to it and see your version history. So if I click on this now, you see it tells me to save as a title and say, oh, this is the version history that I want to save as, right? Then if I want to save, I'll do that. Then if you want to see full version history, right now I don't have any version history, right? So it's nothing is here. There's nothing here currently. So you go back to the same page, you see that still on this file, you can export, and you can export to PDF. You can do a lot more on this page, right? But for beginners, you don't need to pressure yourself on so much. You go to the edit, you can undo, you can copy as, you can find next, you can do all this, you can pick a color, you can select inverse. So the other one is right here, you can still do, you can view. So the pixel grid, the ruler. So if you want your ruler to also show on this, right now there's no ruler on this. If I want my ruler to show, I can pick, I can select this, and my ruler is going to show. Can you see the ruler on this? Before, my ruler was not showing because I didn't select it to come. So you go to your view and you see your ruler, right? So the same thing for layout grids or layout guides, right? If you want that to show, you can also put that up so that it's visible, right? So that when you draw something, right, it shows properly. And if I come here now, it shows on it. So if I come here now to my there are other things, comments. If I remove the comment, this is where the comment is. If I remove the comment, you'll no longer see it there again. So it's comment is hidden and all. So here you can literally just do and undo a lot of things, right? Comments is visible again. If I come to my view here, the outlines, frame outlines, a lot of things that you can see, right? And you can check and make sure that they work, or they literally do what you want them to do, right? Then we have the object, right? A whole lot of other things, right? But we'll still be talking about them on the right side panel afterwards, so I don't want to go into this so much. Here we still have arrange. This is like the alignment and all that. Then here we have like the vectors. If you want to join selection, delete, and do a lot more stuff. Here we have the plugins. So you can literally, Figma has a plugin page, or a page where you can see a lot of plugins. All you just need to do is say manage plugins, and you can literally get a lot of plugins. You see a plugin that makes your picture to be Polaroid. You can see different plugins, icons, different things. If you come here and say you want icons, maybe you're designing on Figma as a beginner and you don't know where to get icons, you can come in here and see different icon types, right? And you can just click on them and be able to access anything, right? See, icons, illustration, photos in one page. Just think of anything. You can go on ChatGPT, you can go on Google, search for plugins for this. Then you come on Figma and search on the plugin. You see it. It's literally so easy like that, right? Then the next thing on this is widgets. So there are some widgets that Figma already created, right? And also like plugin widgets and all that. So you can also access them and use them in your design. So the next thing is preferences. So you can decide to do all of these preferences, but as a beginner, you might not be so interested in all this because it might just be giving you headaches. So yeah, but there's this part where you can do light theme or dark theme. Right now I'm on a dark theme panel on Figma, but I can decide to say I want to do light theme. If I do light theme, everything changes to white, and I can change my background color from here. See the page. Change my background color from here to, let's say, a gray, right? So everything is clearer, right? So the same thing, you can still switch if you want to, and go to your preference again and say, oh, I want to switch back to dark theme, or choose system, because my system is on dark mode. That's why if I choose system preference, it's still going to be on dark mode because my system is on dark mode, right? So I can now choose this back and say I want my my panel to be dark, right? So that is how you can do this. Then libraries. So if I currently have a library, I'm going to be able to access it. Then now Figma also has like a desktop application that you can download, not just on web. You can use it on your see, if I go, this is Figma application right here on my tab at the bottom. So now on this page, you see we have untitled. You can click on this and rename it to first time on Figma or my first design. Do you understand? Anything you think about, you can just use it to name it and say, oh, my first design, right? And that would be saved automatically as your first design. Then there are things you can see here, just a little bit of repetition, show version history, export, artist sidebar, and a whole lot of more stuff. I don't know why this is blinking, but yeah, so you can do this, right? All of these guys showing. So here we have the file and we have the assets. So there's some assets that Figma already created from scratch for the newbies or everybody on Figma, right? You can access thousands of components on Figma. See, simple design systems, then material design, which is the Google components, then the iOS component also are also here. So if you click on each of them, you'll be able to access this. And there are more libraries on Figma that you can access as you move along, right? So here, this is what we call the left side panel, where you can literally access the layers on your page. So all these layers that you're seeing are layers from the mobile screens that I took out from the beginning of the onboarding. You know, we chose mobile applications, so it gave me different screens. So if you see that, if I take this out, if I do Control or Command X to cut, you see that there's no layer again here, right? So it's whatever is on your page is what is going to show right on here. So if I paste back here, you see that all my the e-commerce, see, you can see is a frame already, right? Then we have the checkout is also here because it's a frame on this canvas. So we have layers, which is a list of things on this page. Then we have frames, and frames also act as layers that now have like sub layers inside of them, right? So if I choose e-commerce today and say, oh, these are the things inside of the e-commerce, right? See status bar. So let me zoom this out so that you can see what I'm saying. So you see that we have the status bar. If I click on tab bar, you see that this is tab bar, which is like the bottom navigation. If I click on search, you see that it shows me search. If I click on pews, these are the pews filters. If I click on banner, you see that this is banner. If I click on rows, the rows are below. If I click on another row now, this is another row. If I click on another row, then this is another row. So those are like the layers inside of any of your designs on Figma, right? Then the same thing applies to every other screens on this page. So now let's move to the next side, which is this bottom navigation that we have on Figma. So there are some things that you need to know on this. So first of all, when we click on this, we have the hand tool and we have the scale and we have the move tool. The move tool is this mouse that I'm moving around. So you see that before I click on this total, you see that it first turns to mouse. Mouse is not the move, but when I move inside of here, it turns to a move too. See that the mouse has a tail, or the cursor has a tail. And when I move here, it does not have a tail anymore. So I can click on this, right, and I can move anything around because it's a move tool, right? So here, if I want to use the hand tool is usually when I upload or when I select hand tool, I can move. You see that when I click like this, the hand folds like it's holding something and is moving it around, right? So that's what happens. So when you click, you're able to move with your mouse around. So the same thing happens on that page. Then we have the scale tool, which is the K. So literally you can scale down designs. It's not really a big deal, or you don't really necessarily need it, but it makes you to be able to, if I click on K on my keyboard now, I can scale the design without losing the layout. But if I don't scale it, I will lose the arrangement. So let me show you. Let me remove the scaling and say move, right? If I move this now, you see that it will scatter. Can you see? Because it is not scaled. But if I click on scale, right, and I do this, you see that it will not break. It will not break, right? So that is how that works today, right? That's how that works today. So what you just need to do is click on K and you can scale your designs as much as you wanted, and you will not lose the arrangement at any point in time. So moving on to the right side panel of this, you see that we have also your profile, which is like the name that you use, and here we have like the prototype, which is present or preview. So you can present your designs. If I assuming this is my application, the chart is my application, I can present or I can preview the design. If I preview the design, you see it to come like this to load out my design and show me my design like a mobile application, depending on how I set it on the prototype view, right? I don't want to bombard your head right now because I know everybody watching this is a beginner, or you're just trying to refresh your mind on how to use Figma. But yeah, you can preview your design right here, right? And also you can present, right? You go to the full page where you can present your designs, and you can also see it on that page. This is not coming up right now because of my internet. I don't know why that is taking so long, but yep, that's what happens on this page. Then as we move along, right, would have our other pages, which is you can share your design with anybody, right? So here you can just add the person's email. So if I have somebody that, let me use my other email to send an invite to this page. So if I say this, I can just add my email to it, and I can say I can edit or I can view. So for now, say I want to invite my other account to come and view this design. So if I invite, you see that it automatically tells me that the invite has been sent, right, to that person. Then I would see something right here telling me that I have been invited to come and literally view this account, right? So now back to the prototype. Then I can also copy a link if I don't want to invite anybody. I'll just click on this. You see link copied. Then that link, if you see, if I click on text here, right, the link can be pasted. See, this is the link that the person will see. So I can send it to somebody's WhatsApp, and the person can click and come to Figma to come and see this page. So back to the prototype that was showing the other time. You see, this is the preview screen, and this is what it looks like. So you see that this is the mobile screen here, and this is what it looks like on the preview, and you can expand it as big as you want it to be, and you can also add phone screens to it. So you can do prototype. Right now there's no device on it, so you can add, I don't know what screen size they're currently using, but let me click on chart and check the dimension. So this is 375. So we'll still get to explaining what those things really mean. so that you don't get lost in it. So I'll come here and click on device. I say 375. So that is iPhone 13 mini, right? When I click on this, then when I click on preview, you see that it comes in with maybe an iPhone into an iPhone frame, right? This is what it now looks like. It looks like you're designing an actual mobile application, right? So this is what it looks like, and and you can move it around your screen anywhere to show your client what you're currently working on and all. So moving on to on this same screen, right? This is the prototype. You can decide to change the color. You can decide to change the dimension. You can decide to change your background color when you're prototyping. So if I say, oh, I want a red color, you see, it changes to red. If I want a blue color, it changes to blue. If I want any color, it changes, right? So that is how that works today. Then if you're trying to create a connection between the two applications, it will literally work. So if you want to like connect, say create a connection, if you want to create a connection, like a prototype connection, assuming you want your maybe this screen to connect to this screen, you can say I want to make this continue. If anytime you click on continue, enter the email and continue, you should land on a chat page, maybe it's a chat application. So you see that when you click on sign in now, you're able to see if you click on preview, you're able to see this happening, right? So that is how simple. And if I click on continue, it comes to a chat page like this. See, that is how easy it can be, right? And this is really good. Now moving on to the next, still on the right side panel, we have what we call design, right? On this page, you can see you can change the color of the background as much as you want to, right? Then there's something called variables, but you can't use that yet because you are on a free plan. But if you try to create a variable, let's say color and the likes, maybe that still works right now. But there's a video where I created variables a long time ago. You can go and check that on my page, right? You can go and check that on my page. That is literally available for everybody. I will tag that in this. Click the button at the top here. You see it. How you can create color variables and I think text variables also. So that's that. Then we also have something we call styles, right? You can create text styles, you can create color styles, effect and all that. I also created a video on my channel where you can do text styles, color styles, and a lot more stuff inside of Figma, right? So when we click on a particular frame, right, and let's say we are still on this page, right, you come here, you can see frame. So let's return to this bottom side menu or this bottom navigation. I think I moved from here directly to this side panel, but sorry about that. So let's move back to this side. So if I create a frame now, just like this frame that you see right here, if I create a frame, this is how you can create one. So if you click on this, you see frame, selections and slides. So here we have frame. Frame is like, see it as your canvas, like the space that is given to you to design. See it as like the screen of your mobile application, the screen of your laptop. That is your frame. So if I come here now and select frame, automatically you see that if I click on move, it's going to remove what is on the right panel. But if I click on frame, it changes. It wants to tell me to select something. So you can see different type of frames that we have. The phone, we have the tablet, we have the desktop, we have the presentation, we have the watch, we have the paper, we have the social media, we have the Figma community and archives, right? And what's in this archive? The old phones, right? The phones that are literally older than what we have in these phones, right? Now we have the Android, we have the medium, we have the iPhone 16. Depending on which one you want to use, you can just select, right? You can come here and select iPhone 14. I like to use a phone that is way big so that I can have like a bigger screen to design. So this is what it looks like compared to what I think what they used in this template is iPhone 13 mini. So that is what they have. But this is an iPhone 16 Pro Max and it has like a bigger screen. Then you can even after selecting, you can still change to the iPhone 13 mini, see, but you just have to rename it. So you can come here and rename your frames right here and say, oh, first frame, which is this is the first frame that we drew on Figma. So say first frame, right? This is what it looks like, right? And this is really good. So now when you click on the frame, this is an empty canvas, right? You don't have anything going on this side, but you don't have anything going inside of this frame, right? Nothing compared to what we have inside of these guys, right? But here, there's nothing going on. So things that you can do inside of this frame: number one, you can change the frame just like I said before. Number two, this is literally the positioning of the frame. So if I do this, see, you can move the frame from a particular place on the screen to another place on this particular canvas. Then just like the x-axis and the y-axis that you know from secondary school mathematics, right? Then the y side can up and down, while the x-axis is left and right, right? So that is basically what Figma also does. It's really, really simple. So now we have rotation. You can also rotate 90 degrees. You know your protractor then inside of mathematical set. So you can rotate, you can do all these things that you need to do. Then here we have it's still part of the rotations, right? Because like 90 degrees, flip horizontal, flip vertical, right? So now we have the layouts, right? If you click on the same frame again, we have the layout, which is here. We can literally do so much that we can do, right? We can add auto layouts to a particular frame. We can decide to list out however we want our frames to work. But I have a video on Figma where I already explained so much about auto layout. If you want to see, I will tag the link at the top of this video. You can also click on it to go watch the auto layout video. It's really, really explanatory, and you can understand so much as a beginner. So here we have so much things going on inside of here. So this is the layout, and this is the dimensions, and say 375. If I increase this, right, you see that the width is moving, is increasing. Let's take back to 375. 375. Can you see the height? We can increase it also and say this. If you take it back, say 812, it goes back to whatever it's supposed to be. So it's literally so simple. And this flow and all these things here is for literally auto layout. So if let's say if I don't want to go deep down into auto layouts in this video, but you can still see the video that I already recorded earlier on my channel. So if I have, let's say, a rectangle, right, and I'm saying this and this, right, those things here, I can trigger the auto layout here and say I want to add auto layout, right? Then I can say I want to do freeform. I don't want them. If I add auto layout, what the layout is doing is usually giving it a definite spacing, and it's not making them to be anyhow. But if I select freeform, right, they can go wherever they want to. I can literally select this and it will move, but they are still in the same frame. They will not move around, but they are in freeform. There's nothing holding them. No matter how much I remove them, they are still in this. If I move this guy away like this totally, I move it like this, they are still in the same frame. See, that's what they call freeform. So if I go back now and say, oh no, I don't want them to be, I want to literally make them go back to normal and put them together in a proper form, like the guys have it before, right? So you see, then I can still say down, all down. Then I can put them into like pages by page. What they call this right now? Grid, rather. I wanted to say grid. I don't know why I forgot that name. I'll put them in grid, so I can say 2 grids. So yeah, you can see that we have 1 by 3, but I can say 2 by 2. So see, this is 2 by 3, right? Then I can say 2 by, I want 2 by 2. I don't want too much, but it's 3 of them, so I might just say 3 by 3 and just say 3 by 3, right? Then this happens. So you can do your adjustments, you can do as much as you want, you can fill your container, right? You can do so much with this. You can fill and add like colors to this your grid. You can also add so much, but it's really, really complex, so I don't want you to like give yourself so much headache on this right now. But yeah, I just wanted to explain what was on that page so that you don't feel like, oh, I skipped it and I didn't talk about it. So here we have the clip content. So if I unclip this content, what the clip content does is that, you know, if you have let's say you're inside a car, right? And you close all the doors, right? And nothing can go out of it, right? That is clip content. So if I say, let me put a rectangle inside of this right now. If I put it like this, it cannot go outside. If it goes outside, then it's outside the frame. But if I do it like this, I can still shift it inside and it will just be inside. It's inside, but it's not coming outside. But if I unclip the content, right, it's going to show. But it's still inside, but it's going to show. But if I clip the content, it's not going to show. See, it's not going to show, right? So that's what clip content does, literally. So if I come to the next, we have the appearance. So appearance is literally normal human being appearance. Opacity 100%, you're showing fully. If I say 50%, then it's going to reduce the opacity, right, to 50%. If I say 20%, the same thing happens. Then if I say 100%, 100%, right? Then if I say corner radius, I want it to be curved like this. I don't want it to look like all these guys. You can do that. You can add as much as you want to, and say 30, depending on whatever design you are looking at, right? Then here we have like so much other things. You can hide, you can open. Then there are other things you can do, like the effect on Photoshop and Illustrator, where you can do your multiply effect, your blend modes, and all these things, right? So those ones also happen on this page, right? And the other one here is for these corners, right? You can do individual corners. You can decide to say, I want only this edge, and this edge to be corners. I don't want the other one to be corners. So see, 30, 30, 30, and this 0. So this will be sharp edge. So you can use it to do anything inside of your design. Then if you still want to go back, you can still come back to the top here and add 30 to it. So that's how that part works. Then, and if you want to remove it, you can just click on it again and remove it. So here we have the fill. The fill of this frame, literally what is showing here, which is white. White is FFFFF. That's 6 Fs, right? And we have this guy's running here. So we have the fill. So you can decide to say, I want this to be blue, I want this to be red, I want this to be any color, I want this to be green. It doesn't have to be, your background doesn't have to be white. You can change your background, and the way you can change your background is that you can still add rectangles, and you can also add frames inside of frames, right? You can still click on it and create a frame and give your frame a color, right, and still move it around. So there's rectangle and this frame, and there's a difference between the rectangle and there's a difference between the frame. You can see that the frame that we created since can house a rectangle. You can also house more frames, but a rectangle cannot house a frame until you add a group to it, right? So that's that on that. And here, other things. What are the other things that we will need to see? So these are like libraries. If that is created inside of the file, you would see. So you can see more about this on my video that talks about color and typographies, right? Components, literally. So here we have strokes. So if I have a frame here, or if I have a rectangle, I can add a stroke to it. You can see that automatically it's already showing this. So I can say I want to add the weight of this, and I can say which position. Is it inside? Is it center? Is it outside? Right? I can create this and I can do this, right? You see that when I say outside, it's creating from outside. If I say center, it's creating from center. If I say inside, it's creating from inside. Can you see this? So this is what happens on every page. So now, then there are other things you can do with the stroke. You can say top. You can say, I want the stroke to be only at the bottom. I want the stroke to be only at the left. I want the stroke to be only at the right, depending on whatever you want to achieve, right? Figma is really, really cool. And you can use that to achieve so much more. Just know the basics and you will be fine. The other part of it is the effect. So now let me remove the stroke that I have on this and put the effect. So there's effect. We have the drop shadow, we have the inner shadow, we have the layer blur, we have the background blur, we have the noise, we have the texture, we have the glass. So the inner shadow basically is like it gives a depth to your design, to your whatever you're trying to do. These are like people,
if you are looking to use Figma to create like a 3D object and things like that, that you want to actually create a perspective, yes, you can. You see that before, without this effect, right? If I turn off this, it looks like a plain shape. But if I add this inner shadow, it looks like somebody can come into this and like go inside. Like you can put your leg inside, that kind of thing. So depending on how you now manipulate it is how much the perspective changes. So if I say I want this to be so much on the left and the right and increase the blur a little bit and maybe make it spread so much, or even do like I don't want it so much on the Y, or I don't want it so much here, so you can balance it. Let's say 000, so that way they can come at different points and you can blur it in a way that it makes it look like whatever you want it to look like. So from looking like a depth, you can increase the blur to make it look like whatever you actually want, and you can increase the spread, right? You can increase the spread to whatever you want at every time. So this way it looks like a depth, it looks like something is dropping inside of it. So the next thing here is the other effect. This is the drop shadow. This is the bomb, like you literally have like a normal shadow that walks around with you, right? So here you can manipulate it also and increase the blur if you don't want so much of shadow to show. Then you can still add the corner radius, you can still do so much, right, on this page. Then there's something called the layer blur. Layer blur happens like the actual layer is what is going to go off and make blur. So when you click on this, see it's blur already, and you can now say you either want to do a uniform blur or a progressive blur, right? So here you can see that the blur is already happening, and I'm reducing the blur. I can still do this, and I can still do this. I can increase and decrease. Also, I can do progressive blur. There are different action points for blur, right? Depending on what you want and depending on how you want to achieve it, right? If you say your blur should be so much, see, this is progressive blur, right? I can reduce it and I can increase it depending on whatever you want to achieve, right? Some parts will be blurry and some parts will not be blurry. So if I increase this now, you can make it say, oh, this part is blurry, this part is not blurry. So Figma is so interesting that you can do whatever you like. So now there's other ones. I think aside from this is background blur. So the background of this will be blurry. So if I click on this, the background of this guy would be blurry. And I can also do noise, right? If I want like different type of noise on my design, I can also do that, right? I can do multiple noise. You can see that there's something like a TV noise on this, right, mono, and I can increase it as much as I want to. Then there's something called like the texture, so you can decide on what type of texture you want for your design. So, and you can choose the sizes and however you want it to come, right? Then you can play around, you can be creative and do something really amazing. And also the radius of the texture, right, can also be worked on, then clip to shape, right? So all this can also be done. Then you can do a glass, right? But mostly when you're looking at doing glass morphism and all, it was a feature that Figma literally introduced last year. So you actually just have to have the right perspective or the right reason to use a glass, right? And again, your background needs to be like a dark theme so that you're able to properly communicate so much and literally so that you can also enjoy what you're doing. Because if it's not really a dark theme, your black or your dark background will not really come out really good, right? It's not really show as dark theme, and it's not show as glass so much. So now you can like play around and do your perspective with the lights and however you want it to come. You can move your lights around. You can decide on how you want the system to work. Yeah, your refraction, your everything that you're doing. You can just play around with everything. The depth, as much as you want to. You come out the dispersion, right? Then the first, how much you want the glass to be. Then your angles, right? You need to check that also. You see that as I'm moving the angles, the lines, the strokes are looking like they're going off, right? Then one thing, you can add a stroke to this, right? Maybe a lighter stroke where you can do a little bit of something like this, right? So that it covers up for so much. So here you can see the glass is making so much sense, and you can do it round. So you can just play around with this and achieve whatever you want to achieve. I think that's so everything on the effect. Then the next is the layout guide. So most people design, you see that when we come to this kind of design now, this should automatically be a layout guide that you used by the guys. I'm not sure they used one, but they should have one. So mostly there's always something called the grid, and there's something called the columns and the rows. So this is a grid, like your graph sheet. And we have the columns, which is these columns. So mostly for mobile application, you have 4. Some people use 6 sometimes, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's use 4 and 16 as a margin. So something is called margin and something is called a gutter. So margin is like when you have your normal book, like your normal school book, they always tell you to draw a margin. So that margin is what is here and what is here, right? Then you have a gutter. The gutter is the one that is now in between the columns, not the one outside here, in between these columns, right? So now I think they use 20 margin, so you can use 20. I think this is even more than 20, maybe 22 or 20. I don't know what they used, but it's not my design, so I didn't really know what they used. So this is that. So literally there's supposed to be something guiding your design, mostly when you are working, right? So for mobile app, you should have something like this that guides your work. And I think they use them 24 padding actually. So let's go to our layout guide and add 24 to this margin. So you can see that it's 24 from both sides, depending on whatever you want. It's not cast in stone. Some people use 16, some people use 24, depending on whatever fits. I'm sure the one that is here is not the same thing as the one that is here. So if you check the padding that is here, you see that the layout grid that is here, you see, let's choose columns and let's choose 4. Let's choose 4, right? You see that when I come to margins, right, and I say 24 is more than it. So sometimes they use 16. See, this is 16. So you can't really say, oh, this is what it is, but mostly people use from 16 to 24, mostly for mobile applications, right? So that's that on that. Then there's also rows. So if you want to also do like rows and you want to make sure that your spacing is also good on the row side, you can just click on plus so that you don't remove the columns. You can just click on plus, come to rows, right, and you can separate things like this, and you can tweak it until you're able to get your desired rows that you want for your project, right? So that's how that works today. Then you can export, right? I can decide to export this page, this sign-in page, and say I want to export this, and you can decide to say JPEG, SVG, PDF, PNG, as much as you want, right? Then immediately you're doing that, you can see a preview at the bottom that tells you as much. Then we have the ×1, ×2, ×3. So literally this is telling you the quality of your export. So if you're exporting 1x, that's like the exact screen that is here. And sometimes, when you export and download, there's always a reduction in quality of design. So if you want to put on like X and all that, you can decide to say ×2, ×3, ×4, which is viewing 4K and all that, so that it retains the same, so much high quality of your work. So then you can click on export, and you see that immediately you click on export, now you see downloading images 0 out of 1. So if I click on this, you see that the image is already here, and I can click on this to show my image. So this is what it looks like from what I had on Figma, and you see that it's a little bit blurry because it's just 1x, right? So I know that people will come and say, oh, I exported this and it's 1x. If you're exporting 4x and maybe JPEG, but PNG is more quality than JPEG, so if I export in 4x and I have this, you see that the difference will be clear. So if I do this now, you see that it's more sharper and a lot better compared to what you had before. So that is how to do those things on Figma. So if you are a beginner designer and you're looking to get started inside of Figma, I think I've been able to run you through so much right now inside of Figma. And here also there are like a whole lot of other things that you can see. I kept like moving from here to here, moving from here to here. So here is like shapes, different shapes that you can access on Figma. So rectangle, lines. If you want to draw a line today, from here down to here, so just pick an anchor point and do this. Right, this is a line. So most times when you're drawing your lines, you should make sure that your lines have been drawn from using a shift key. If you click on shift, you're able to draw a straight line. But if you don't click on shift, you will not be able to draw a straight line. If you just click on line and click on this, you see that you start seeing different things going on. Can you see? It's not aligning properly or compared to what we had at the top. But if you click on shift, it will be properly aligned without, see, if I click on shift now, no matter where it is before, it's going straight line, right? Straight. So that's that on that. Then if you check on rectangle too, if you want to draw a rectangle so that it doesn't look yama yama, you just click on this, click on shift and draw your rectangle. But this is currently a square. But if you want to draw a proper rectangle, you draw your rectangle like this, then you add your you don't add shift to rectangle though if you rectangle, but if you want to draw a square, you add your shift, then you align. See, it just gives you everything as a square. Then if you want to draw your circle or your ellipse or your arrow, the same thing applies to arrow, the same thing. If you click on shift on this, you can draw your arrows properly, right? So it doesn't look like it's bent or anything. We come to ellipse today. If you just draw ellipse, it will look like egg. It will not be stable, right? It will not be stable at all. But when you click on shift, right, to do your ellipse, you get a proper round shape. So if you do this, you see that the round shape is there. And the way you know that your object is not round is when you check here and it's not the same. The width and the height is not the same. See, the width and the height is not the same, then you should know that there's a problem, right? So for a circle, you should have the same width and height, right? For your rectangle, you should not have the same thing, but for your square, you should have the same thing. Here we also have like the pentagon. So pentagon is really interesting shape. Same thing, hold your shift so that you can get the best. And pentagon has like different other options. You can either click on this action here that says count, and there's something here that says radius. So if you click on this and move your mouse around, you see that you can add more shapes to this, right? You can play around and add more shapes to this. Then you can also do corner radius and just make your shapes really good, right? So this is really, really nice. Then you can do this, right? See how good it looks, and everything looks really nice and perfect. So here you can also, and then you can do it manually from here. You can do your count and all those things. Immediately you select the polygon. Then if you move to the stars, right, click on this and create a star. You see that there are some effects here. See, I can decide to move it in, move it out, do different things, and adjust the different corners and shapes depending on whatever I want, right? Then here also you can import your image and videos, different things, right? I already showed you how to import an image the last time, so you can just click on this, import your image. If it's a video that you have, you can import the video inside of Figma too, and it works. So here we have the text, so you can come here and type and say, oh, this, right? You can type inside of Figma. You can type inside of your interface, right? Also, you can come here and say hello. I can say hello. I don't know why I'm not getting my you can say hello, like literally anything you want to type is what you want to type. Then you can do this, right? Then here you can do so much. You can do your alignment. So when you put your text, right, you can say you want this in center, you want this at the edge, you want this here, you want this middle, left, right, center, different places, right? Which is what you should want, right? Then you can decide to change your font size, the weight of the font, right? The weight of the font as much as you want. You can do bold, you can increase the size, right, to 40, 50, depending on what you want, right? Then you can also break in this like this as much as you want, right? And what else do we have on this? So yeah, you can also drop a comment. So if I come here and say, oh, I have the screens here, also drop a comment, please remove. You can drop a comment for the users for them to see. And definitely anybody that is collaborating with me on this file would be able to see this comment and they'll be able to say, okay, no problems, right? And you can drop as much as comments as you want to. The next is the other guys here, which is the widget, and I think some things with literally the widget and other things done here. If you are on the pro level, you should be able to see like what do you call it? You should be able to see the AI features. It's not currently here. Then you can switch between draw, Figma draw, and also dev mode. You see, when I switch to Figma draw, we have so much difference, but not so much, but still the same thing. If you already understand what is in Figma, you don't need to do too much with this guy again, right? Then the same thing still happens here: the frames, the sections, the slides, and all those guys. What else? What else do you need again? Then the dev mode. I can't go to dev mode right now because I'm not on paid version, right? If I click on dev mode, it's going to tell me that I need to upgrade. So back to design mode. So yeah, but that's mostly for developers, right? And
I'm happy you got to the end of the video, and I'm sure you definitely learned one or two things today and getting started on Figma, and I look forward to you designing your first ever screen inside of Figma. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and I'll be here to answer you. And also like, share and subscribe to the channel. That's the only way you're helping the channel to grow. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye for now.